Now look at another numerical asked in IIT 2012. Uh, although the statement looks very lengthy because I have noted it down, but the answer is very simple. Now look at the statement. A small block is connected to one end of a massless spring. This is a block. This is a spring. The block is connected to this end of the spring. The other end is fixed here. The spring has no mass. Massless spring of unstretched length 4.9 meter. Before stretching, its length is 4.9 meter. The other end of the spring is fixed here. The system lies on a horizontal friction surface. The spring and the block lies on this surface OX, which is frictionless. The block is stretched by, this block is stretched by 0.2 meter. This is the original unstretched length 4.9 and it is stretched by 0.2 meter. Now look and released. This is stretched and released. So the spring will pull it back and it will oscillate like this, back and forth. Released from rest at t is equal to 0. It then executes simple harmonic motion with angular frequency omega pi by 3 radian per second. How much angle it is creating per second, radian per second. Of course, this will not be used, omega pi by 3, while solving this numerical. Now, at the same time, the moment this is stretched and released at t is equal to 0, at the same time t is equal to 0, a small pebble is projected from here. A small pebble is projected with a speed u from the point P at an angle with the horizontal 45 degree as shown. The point P is at a horizontal distance 10 meter from O. This point from O is at a distance of 10 meter. This is not given. We'll calculate this, where this will land. If the pebble hits the block, this pebble hits the block at t is equal to 1 second. It was released at t is equal to 0. The pebble was released and this block was stretched and released. And then at t is equal to 1 second, means from t is equal to 0, t is equal to 1 is 1 minus 0 is 1 second. Means after 1 second it is given this pebble hits the block. Then what is the value of this u? Take g is equal to 10 meter per second square. Now very simple. Let me fold it for you, then we will discuss. Right? Now look at the diagram. This is my camera cover. Now look at the diagram. Given the pebble hits the block, as I just explained, at t is equal to 1 second. So, if the pebble hits the block, it has to land on this surface OX. So, it has to land on the surface OX. It is given, it hits in 1 second. So, if the pebble is here after 1 second, it will not definitely hit it. When it lands on the surface OX, it will hit. So, it has to land on the surface OX in t is equal to 1 second. So, since it is landing on the surface at t is equal to 1 second, therefore this projectile, the time of flight, capital T is 1 second. And we know the expression for time of flight in a projectile is 2u sin theta over g, where u is the velocity of projection, theta is the angle with the horizontal. and here this theta is angle with our horizontal, u is the velocity of projection. So now put these values. 2 u sine 45, it is given. It is given to take g as 10 and t is 1 second. So this is 2u sine 45 is 1 over root 2. Now a 10 comes here, 10, 2u 1 over root 2. This implies this cancels with this. We have 5, root 2 comes here. So 5 root 2, E is equal to 5 root 2 meter per second. Now let us rewrite in a different manner. This 5 is outside the square root. So if I take it inside, it will be squared. So what I am finding out, I take this 5 inside the square root, so it becomes 25. 25 into 2, that is 50, square root of 50 meter per second. Now, let this block is hit. When the block is here, after stretch, when this block is vibrating to and fro, and when it is at K, suppose it is hit by the pebble. Let the block is hit when it is at K, when it is at the point K. From P to K will therefore be the range of the projectile. From P to K will be the range of the projectile. Therefore, from P to K, that is the distance PK, is the range of the projectile. And the expression for range we know, u square sine 2 theta over g. So let us put the values. U we have r is r. We have just found out u, that is square root of 50. In the expression it is u square. So square of this is 50. Theta is given 45. 2 into 45, 90. Sine 90. Sine 90 is 1. So 1 into 50, 50. 50 over 10 is equal to 5 meter. So the range is equal to 5 meter. So if the block is hit when it is at K, how far this projectile is traveling on the horizontal? 5 meter. Now is the tricky thing. Therefore the conclusion is so it is possible. Why it is possible? Now look, the unstretched length of the spring is 4.9 meter. It is given it is stretched by 0.2 meter. It is stretched by 0.2 meter. So this is the unstretched length 4.9 and it is stretched by 0.2. So this becomes 5.1. So this becomes 5.1 meter. So look, from here to here is 10, from here to here is 5 where it is hit. So the remaining distance from here to here is a 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. But this is the unstretched length is 4.9 and it is stretched by 0.2. So 4.9 plus 0.2 is 5.1. The unstretched length is 4.9 and it is stretched by 0.2. This plus this is 5.1. Therefore the block overshoots this position, comes to this side. So there is a chance it will hit. So it is all possible.